Peace, my friends. You've got Gord. How you doing? It is Sunday evening. I did not know. I've never gone 2 weeks in a row without doing Weedy Weekend. And I didn't want to start now. So here I am. It's Sunday night. I'm tired. I'm hurt. I've been moving all weekend. But I'm a happy man. I'm here in my new house. These are my new digs. This is what you'll see around me. Sitting at my big desk. The old desk I used to have long ago, we dug it out of the basement, and here it is. And we're on Weedy Weekend number 98. 98. I had way too many stories. From 2 weeks of stories, I had to decide that there were some I just wasn't going to share. Because I'd rather it be full of substance about the issues at hand than just a whole bunch of here's a bunch of stories. Otherwise, I would have gone, if I wanted to give full substance to every story I had, I'm sure this would be an hour-long show. I don't have the stamina. So I've saved a few here, and the very first one, and I really, really enjoyed this. This is the power of the people. I'm not a union person. In fact, when I first started with the railway over 40 years ago, they wanted me. It was a closed shop. It was a union shop that you had no choice. You had to pay union dues. But I said that doesn't mean I have to affiliate. And I stayed myself. I never used the system. I never asked for the system, and I really tried to bargain my own ways of getting my own money. I believe in that. I believe in the power of the individual. I understand the power of the union, but the union has been usurped so badly. It's just a big money machine that drives up inflation. I won't go much further on that, but I had to say it because I'm about to say what a wonderful union. There is a union in Ontario, workers. Just a minute. This is a little different. Sorry. I'm trying, my friends. Workers at a medical dispensary in Toronto's East End have joined Unifor, the country's largest private sector union. 40 workers, including reception, production, supervisors, and packaging, and retail staff at the Broadview Avenue location at MMJ Clinic, are now represented by the union. I know I got confused because last weekend I shared where a union had decided on their own to get medical coverage for medical cannabis patients because Health Canada wasn't doing it. So I thought that was this story. This one, I guess I should have pre-read it a little better, guys. I thought I knew what it was. It is unionizing the workers in the cannabis industry. I'm not for it. Read the story, see what you think. I'm not for unionizing anybody because I think the power of the people, the union props up those that don't perform well and never recognizes those that do. It's all about uniformity and homeostasis, and I don't believe in that. We're all different. But what it does, I see the positives it can have, is it gives some legitimacy to those dispensaries. It gives some legitimacy both in the courts but also in dealing with the RCMP. Now they've got something behind them and possibly some money to back them. This is maybe a direction that's needed for a while, or for some. I don't know. It'll be interesting to follow. It'll be interesting to get your opinion on that matter. I'm sorry I did not read it well. I'll read a quote here. This is a fast-growing industry. And with the advent of legalization, it's important that the workers have a voice and representation as the sector evolves in the coming years. Can unions give that voice that's needed? We've spent 80 years with this voice coming out, and we've we've pushed Canada to legalize it. So do we need the unions after that? No, the unions just want their piece of the pie. They want to dig in and say, yeah, but each of you workers, you give us 10 or 30 bucks a month for now. It'll soon add up to 100 a month or something, but we're going to help you. That's my opinion. That's an old hippie. Next is from Salon, and it is titled Medical Marijuana Could Cost Big Pharma $4 billion a year. Now, I've shared a lot of these stories. I decided to still share this again because more and more we need to understand that if Big Pharma, I mean, this is written right out there, so Big Pharma knows that the estimates are they're going to lose $4 billion a year. Wow. No wonder we have people that are maybe people putting money in the pockets of the legislators to try to keep fighting it. I closed off a whole bunch of stories about the U.S. and how they're still going to fight it federally and all that. Why? I shared them, and we had a lot of good discussion when I shared them in Google. But I didn't want to talk about them too much here because you know what? Like this story says, the very first sentence of this story, once the federal government finally allows medical marijuana to become a legitimate part of the industry, not if, when. The snowball has gotten too big. There's nothing going to get in its way. It's going to become legal all across the world. And pharmaceutical companies know this, so they're fighting it tooth and nail because every month, every week, every day, they still make millions. And the longer they can make this happen, the longer they can make it take, the more money they will make. Keep that in mind. And this one is from Salon. It seems the pharmaceutical trade has more than enough reasons to fear the legalization of marijuana. As an analysis conducted by the folks at the New Frontier Data, predicts the legal use of cannabis products for ailments ranging from chronic pain to seizures could cost marketers of modern medicine somewhere around $4 billion a year. Amazing. This next story, right along the same line. How many prescriptions are replaced by cannabis? A Canadian study explores an answer. As in the U.S., we've seen a marked drop in opioid overdoses in the legal states, prodding the question of whether patients are replacing their prescription medicines with cannabis. It's not are they, it's they are. Led by researchers Philip Lucas and Zach Walsh, this investigation surveyed 271 patients purchasing cannabis from Canadian LP Tilray, seeking to understand who is using medical marijuana and why. They discovered some staggering statistics pertaining to substitution. 63% of those responding from that Tilray said they are taking cannabis in place of prescription medications. If they called me and they didn't, and I'm with Tilray, they would have gotten my answer as the same. 63% of those people registered with one of the biggest producers in Canada said that they're doing medical marijuana to get off of the pharmaceuticals. I'm not going to take this any further. I want you to look. I want you to see. Because it's important. Now, please bear with me 1 second. And therefore, sorry, I had to read that. It was about my child. Let us move on because that is a wonderful, wonderful story. And again, in the theme of this big snowball, Here comes France. The French government has effectively decriminalized by stating they're going to end all prison terms of anybody that was caught in their law of possession of cannabis. So this is huge, huge. The French government is about to make some drastic changes to the enforcement of cannabis use laws. A government spokesperson revealed that by the end of 2017, France will end all prison terms for cannabis users. By the end of this year. That is beautiful. That is a statement. When I shared it, I said, excuse me, Mr. Trudeau, and I hate calling him Prime Minister Trudeau, Mr. Trudeau, because you are not leading this country properly. You're allowing many people to get criminal records for possessing something that next year they're allowed to possess. Absolutely ridiculous. France is doing it right. They're first decriminalizing, getting the people out of the jails, then they'll legalize it. It's a beautiful, beautiful system. Why our French Prime Minister couldn't figure that out, I don't know. Peace. I should have something to puff with that one, but I'm not going to in here. And the next story. I love this story too. This is all a positive thing. Great one for Weedy Weekend 98. Can't wait for 100. Anyways, this story comes out of Thunder Bay. It's from cbc.ca, and it's about Thunder Bay's Mayor Keith Hobbs, who Thunder Bay all of a sudden gets a dispensary, and he's for it. And people are amazed. Wow, a mayor is for it. There's many mayors. Talk to the mayor of Vernon, the mayor of Kelowna in British Columbia. Talk to the mayors in Vancouver, Port Coquitlam. I could go on and on. Talk to a lot of mayors. They understand that their city is already in a situation of need for stores to get their medicine. So it's not unusual to me, but it's neat that the CBC thinks this is such a big story. I'm glad for, let me read some of it. Thunder Bay Mayor Keith Hobbs says he has no problem with the new medical marijuana clinic that's opening in the Northwest Ontario city on Thursday. We know that cannabis is used for medical purposes now, and next year we're going to see legalization that legalizes marijuana, so I don't have a problem with it. It is the way the country is going. That's what we need. Therefore, he's going to support the clinic, dispensary, whatever it's going is, and he's going to help them not get shut down in this interim period. I love the way Canada's going. It is changing. We are getting there. No, I'm not going to give kudos to the Liberal government for doing it. It had to be done. It's being done all over the world. Mexico's talking about it. Soon the U.S. will be sandwiched by two legal countries, and they're going to have no choice. They already have 26 of their 50 states, so over 50% of their legal states are medical legal. Of their states are medically legal. So it's just exploding, and it's going to explode. The momentum has taken an exponential force. Those aren't bad words for a very medicated, very tired, and not in that much pain because of the good medication, old hippie. I moved a lot of stuff with my family. Cheers to my family. Shout out to all of you. I also hired a couple of basketball students that needed to raise money for a trip. It felt good, and worked them 2 hours, paid them 4. They were hard workers. They did more in the 2 hours than most would do in 6. Next and last story, my friends. This one is from ukyahoo.com, and it is about, how Canadian scientists, it's from the UK, but it's how Canadian scientists are using marijuana to reduce crack cocaine use. It's a really good story. I don't have anything highlighted here to specifically speak to, but in Canada, nearly 1,000 people died of overdose in 2016. So if we can get them to just smoke pot instead, get that high, who cares? Some people will never walk away from needing that high. But it's just, they say, just like where methadone was used, a much safer, much less addictive, and much less troublesome drug than heroin, methadone often is used to get people off of heroin. They still get high, but they're safer, they're not so terribly high, and they're members of society. We can do the same with cannabis. It's a really good story. It talks about if misused, crack cocaine causes health harms, including cuts and burns from unsafe pipes. Sharing pipes also transmits diseases and all that kind of stuff. That's the fear mongering. Let's just make a safe drug that's legal for everybody, that's an adult. I'm at the end. 16 minutes in. I think that's fair. I think that's fair because my back, it doesn't want to move. I do welcome you to my new abode. I wish you well. I hope this has gone well, and I hope you've liked it. I'm back. I'm back, people. Yes, you're going to get your answer videos. You're going to get all your videos back and some new ones because I live in the new area. I hope this sounds good. Peace and cheers. Love and harmony.